Well, hello, my silky friends. Man, I didn't expect to do this today, okay? I was enjoying a day off, doing some work around the house, sitting in the sun. Skin is burning a little bit, and these documents dropped. Man. So I was like, oh God, we've got to talk about this. Got to talk about it. Hey, and to y'all that missed last night's, if you haven't seen it or seen it on the replay, sorry, here goes the fuzz. Y'all know, every time I sit down here, I get fuzz. Uh, if you missed last night's live, I might be looking at you like this all night. Man, Four Pits, shout out to Four Pits. You brought it. You brought the stuff. And everybody, Prof, Meow, Dan, we had a fabulous time. But if you are trying to just see what Four Pits said, I put out a video. I just clipped that part, and you gotta hear it. Yeah, he made a lot of people mad. Made a lot of people mad. Well, go figure, right? Right. Yeah, it was something else. It was something else. Good to see you. Mythical, Just Deb, Professor Pug, Daniel Barry, Kayla. Oh, let me go back up here. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right. Oh, Carol. Stanhope, hello. Yeah, it was a great live. Meow sent me a copy of the documents because I was having trouble downloading it, what we're going to look at tonight. So, sorry, I'm not dressed for it, threw myself together. You get what you get. Um, yeah, go figure. Lots of angry people. Well, he hit the nail on the head. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I think soon I'm going to pull up one of my old videos and rewatch it. And I want to tell you, it was the one that I did last June with Misbehaved. If I'm not mistaken, that is the live that it was where I talked about the Kokomo crew, Gabe Ellis, how the whole narcotics rings uh, go. Like, I did a whole video on that. And I really, I forgot what I said. I might have said something good. I don't know. Maybe it was stupid. I'm going to go back and find out. But I'm going to probably rework that one for you. Hello, Digital. Good to see you. Yeah, so I asked Meow if she wanted to come up. If any of y'all, I've got good people in here right now. If any of y'all want to come up and help read some of this, and you don't even have to put your picture on panel. You can put an icon up there. Mother of Dragons, hello. I saw you in there last night too. Yeah, I'm going to try to make this one as quick as possible because I still have a ton of things to do. But look, and it's a long document. It is what it is. There were two motions to dismiss today. And the first one, I'm not going to read. It's just it's citing all kinds of cases and talking about reasons that they should have a motion to dismiss charges. So there is no, there's no point. Oh, Freckled Joy, you would but you're still at work. Okay, I get it. Yeah, there's a lot. So, let's go into it because, like I said, if you change your mind, put it in chat. Now, sometimes I can't see what's going on in chat, but let's see if I can see y'all and still read. Maybe. All right. I don't expect a whole lot of problems with trolls tonight, but you never know because y'all know how that goes. Y'all know. Usually when you're not. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go past all this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me just tell you what it's about, though. Let me read the title. Defendant's second motion to dismiss based upon newly discovered, destroyed. What? Newly discovered, destroyed, and or missing exculpatory or potentially useful evidence. I love that. Potentially useful. I feel like that's me some days. I am potentially useful. Maybe not 100%, but potentially. Okay, so they want to dismiss this, and okay, they're talking about, I'm going to, like I said, go through this because there's so much good stuff in here. Okay, on February 7th, they filed a motion to dismiss. They had detailed, if y'all remember, we talked about this, how Brad Holder, the interview, Brad Holder's interview was, taped over. Oopsie. Yeah, whatever. Okay, then on March 18th, they held a hearing in that matter. And, during that, I don't think I actually did this one. Steve Mullen testified that the evidence was destroyed or taped over. Good job, Steve! Chief of Police, let's hear a round of applause. Get it together. Feeling spicy. Okay. The prosecution did not tender these reports to the defense until after the motion to dismiss was filed. Yeah, okay. And also on March 18th, let me go back up there, the defense tendered Mullins undated reports, how he, explained the oopsie. That's basically what it was about. On April 2nd, the court denied. That's all we ever hear from Gull, right? Deny. Didn't matter what you say. You could tell her hair looked great. Denied! She's got the stamp. Just ready to go. Denied! Sorry, I'm full of it. Okay, let's see. Just like Allen's first motion to dismiss, the missing and or destroyed evidence relates to third-party suspect Brad Holder. Now, okay, we talked about the Kokomo crew and all that kind of stuff and the narcotics. Remember that's what Four Pits was talking about? Naming names, y'all. If you haven't seen it, naming names. So anyway, but this is still like they all play in together, okay? All play in together. It is a big, that's the tentacles, and I still have a fuzz in my eye. All right. Brad Holder's missing phone extraction data. What? I didn't even know. Okay. During a recent deposition of Brad Holder, the defense learned that Brad Holder is pretty sure he turned over his phone to law enforcement on February 17th, 2017. That was just a couple of days. So see, right, okay. That tells you one thing. Remember, we talked about this last night. Robert Ives said, within a few days to a week, this case should have been solved with old-fashioned police work. He had no idea why it wasn't solved. Well, it's becoming pretty evident why it wasn't solved. So, look, right, just a few days after, they were on it, right? They were on it. So what happened? Okay. Prosecution hasn't turned over any data extractions reports, etc. from Brad Holder's phone. Curiously, on the same day and at the same time that Brad Holder believes that he turned his phone over to law enforcement officers, his son Logan also turned over his phone. Okay. The prosecution has turned over the data extracted from Logan's phone, but not any from Brad's. Well, now that's a bit of a curious thing, especially if they did them on the same day. Let's see. While the data from Logan Holder's phone was extracted, law enforcement apparently claimed that they failed to extract data from Brad Holder's phone, even though both he and his son turned over their phones to law enforcement at the same time. What, is this kind of like the interview? I mean, do we see a pattern here? This, and I think despite all of the other things that are going on and all of the activity and maybe even cartel, maybe not cartel, the trafficking, all that plays a part, but do we see a common pattern here? Yeah, we do. It seems like anything that Brad Holder has said or did in the beginning just went poof. It was miraculously, never done. Oh my goodness, we taped over it. Come on. Like, Carroll County. And all you people that want to write nasty messages on my comment section, I want to tell you something. If Carroll County was transparent and not, buffoons when it came to this investigation, there wouldn't be all these theories, would there? No. I love the word buffoon, just so you know. I love it. It's so fun. Buffoon. Jerry Holman stated under oath at a recent deposition that he believes police just looked through Brad Holder's phone but encouraged the defense to find out from from the FBI. What? Holman, you're ISP. He thinks they just looked through it, but, I really don't know, even though I am important and an investigator on this, and I have my finger in everybody's pie. Jer. That's another word I love. Yeah, Jer says, I don't know. That's the FBI because, I know nothing. Of course you don't. Jerry. When asked if Holman, would have extracted data from Brad Holder's phone if given the opportunity, Holman was non-committal. Depends on the circumstances, but I think you'd have to ask the FBI what they did. Again, dodging that. Oh, it depends on the circumstances. What about the circumstances that there are two girls who are unalive, and you've got a prime suspect right there? His phone, his presence. What about that? What about those circumstances, Jer? Finally, after being pushed by the defense, hold on just a second. This might be important. Okay. Depends on the circumstances, but I think you'd have to ask the FBI. Finally, after being pushed by the defense, Holman finally conceded that he would have extracted data from Holder's phone if given the opportunity. Well, why weren't you given the opportunity? Because there was Brad, your ISP.
Well, if I'd had the opportunity, I would have done it.
Nobody believes you, Jer. Nobody. The defense finds it highly, highly unlikely that law enforcement would take the time to collect both Brad Holder's phone and Logan Holder's phone, but then choose to only conduct an extraction of Logan Holder's phone, especially when Brad Holder was a suspect at the time and no evidence was provided that, law enforcement considered Logan as a suspect. Okay? Yeah, that would be your reason, Jer. All right. Okay, so on February 17th, the documents specifically sought by the defense, this is Doug Carter's emails with the FBI, Doug Carter's emails with the FBI provided evidence that A, Brad Holder was a suspect within days of the murder, and certainly on February 17th. State Police Superintendent Doug Carter was aware that Brad Holder was a suspect. So Doug knew, but you didn't know, Jer? That's what you're telling me. Okay, keep going. Even the top FBI agent in Indianapolis, Jay Abbott, oh my God, there's that name. Y'all know what I think about Jay Abbott. Was aware. Even the top FBI agent in Indianapolis was aware that Brad Holder was a suspect on February 17th, 2017. Now, okay, Jay Abbott probably didn't care because he was too busy covering the doctor who was diddling with the Olympics team people, okay? So, I'm just going to put it out there. Jay Abbott was busy. But still, you get a paycheck. Logan Holder was not mentioned as a suspect in these emails. This begs the question, why would law enforcement take both Brad and Logan's phones, but only extract one? Yes. Again, they reiterated. All right, well, listen to this. Additionally, the defense possesses 101 phone extractions that law enforcement conducted on a variety of other phones, many of which seemingly have little or nothing to do with the murders. So you have 101 extractions that have, not much at all, if anything, to do with it. But the one of the suspect, you don't have. You didn't do it. Is that what you're telling me? Well, either you're extremely inept buffoons, or you're lying. Lie. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. Maybe they're just buffoons. This begs another question. Why would law enforcement take the time to extract data from 101 phones, most of which were not owned by the suspects, yet not extract Brad's? Yeah, that is a good question, defense. Good job. The defense believes that the above information provides strong circumstantial evidence that law enforcement did extract the data from Brad Holder's phone and has not turned it over to the defense. Oh, my word! I cannot believe that such a thing could occur. No. Surely if the prosecution had evidence, they would have turned it over. Or maybe they taped over it. Maybe they lost it. Maybe Sasquatch came and got it. Logic and common sense support this belief. Yes, I as inept as I believe they have sometimes been, I don't believe they were that big of buffoons. If law enforcement failed to extract suspect Brad Holder's phone while it was in their hands, then the only other explanation was that law enforcement was completely and utterly inept. Yeah, those are your choices. Okay. Oh, it gets better. We got lots of stuff going on. Additionally, Brad Holder testified in his deposition that in addition to law enforcement's February 17th interview, which was purportedly, accidentally, taped over, that law enforcement conducted a second interview of Brad Holder sometime later, probably within a year or two of his first interview. Holder further testified at his deposition that A, law enforcement conducted this second interview at Logansport Police Station. B, the interview took about an hour and a half. C, the interview was likely videotaped in an interview room. D, the interview involved much questioning about Patrick Westfall. After the deposition, the defense alerted the prosecutor's office that the defense had a phone dump extraction evidence from Brad Holder's phone and no evidence in form of video, audio reports, notes, or any other type of evidence of law enforcement's second interview of Brad Holder. Okay, you taped over the first one. And the second one, you didn't record it? You didn't even take any notes? What did y'all do? What was the official interview? Were you just watching TikTok? I guess it was Musical.ly back then. Were you just watching videos? And yeah, we're supposed to be doing an interview, but hey, did you see this? Love these cat memes. This is ludicrous. Do y'all see how ludicrous this is? I mean, you have to either believe that these are the biggest buffoons in law enforcement history, including Barney Fife, or, which he did solve a few things, or they are just lying. Take your pick. On May 13th, 2024, the prosecution advised the defense by email that they cannot locate an interview of Brad Holder at the Logansport PD and have no record of Brad Holder's phone being downloaded. Don't know. Me. At a recent deposition, when Unified Command's Jerry Holman was asked about how the defense could obtain any information about this second interview, Holman said, I don't know. Got no idea. But encouraged the defense to reach out to the Logansport PD to find out. That seems to be a common referring thing, Jer. When somebody asks you about something, some evidence, or, did you do this, did you do that? Oh, I don't know. Ask the FBI. Ask Logansport. Don't ask me. Why is that, Jer? The defense is not required to locate exculpatory evidence or potentially useful evidence of third-party suspects. That is the requirement of law enforcement. Yeah. What about you do it? What about you do your job? What about you call the FBI? What about you call Logansport? Since you are ISP, I think that might hold a little bit of weight. They might try to come up with something. Oh, but he can't be bothered. No, Jer's busy. The defense is, also at the May 2nd, 2024 deposition, Brad Holder told a third different story concerning how many times he met victim Abigail Williams, 2 times, and that one of Brad Holder's meetings with Abby took place at Patrick Westfall's house. Okay. Now, they're going on, and I'm going to skip over this because they're saying, it was kind of insignificant. Basically, he lied, but we've heard this before. We know that what he said in the last meeting was differed. Okay, how many times? Number 35 is interesting, though. Holman showed no curiosity nor interest whatsoever about why Holder's stories have changed. This attitude supports an argument which defense will later make in this motion that law enforcement have acted intentionally or in bad faith to conceal evidence to such a degree that they cannot even admit factual inconsistencies that point the finger at third-party suspects. Yeah, Holman's not curious. He's not interested either. He got other things on his plate. Patrick Westfall was interviewed on August 17th, 2024, and law enforcement extracted data from Westfall's phone. Now, this is interesting, and I think I did hear this before. But if you didn't know, the phone extraction shows that Westfall's phone had no data prior to August 11th, 2023, which was the day that law enforcement contacted Westfall and asked him to come in to be interviewed 1 week later. You know what that phone call was about? Y'all, you can see it. It's right there. They're like, hey, Patrick, heads up. We are going to have to interview you. Yeah, the defense, they're pushing this thing out, whatever. We trying, but we're going to have to bite the bullet, go ahead and interview you. So I'm giving you a heads up. We're going to try to extract the data from your phone, so, there's that. Right, buddy? Y'all see how this is playing out? All opinions and theories. Don't come at me. These are my opinions. And, in my opinion, they're correct. In other words, it appears that Patrick Westfall either erased all of his phone data on his phone or purchased a new phone after police contacted him on or about August 11th, 2023. Of course he did. The only data found on Westfall's phone was between August 11th and August 17th when he was interviewed. No text, videos, photographs, email messages, or any other data existed on Westfall's phone before the day that police contacted him. So if they contacted him on the 11th, there was literally nothing. Okay. I mean, what did they say in that phone call? Okay, reset your phone right now. Erase everything. All right, now, behave yourself until your interview. It makes you wonder. I'm not saying. Just, makes me wonder. When Jerry Holman was confronted with the fact that Patrick Holder likely erased or attempted to hide his phone data from state police, Holman claimed that he found nothing unusual, stating people erase things all the time. Is that what you do, Jerry? Do you erase all the stuff that you don't want anybody to know about? I mean, I don't know. I've got text messages on my phone from a year ago from people I talked to. I know everybody doesn't do that, but, and they're not even important. They're just, whatever. They're just those kind of messages. Hey, what you doing? Zup. But I still have them. Yeah. Later, Holman stated that he found nothing suspicious about Patrick Westfall deleting or concealing his phone data. Really? Jerry! You're law enforcement. You found nothing suspicious about him deleting or concealing his phone data? Oh, my. Yeah, if that is true, okay, if that is legit and you're not hiding anything, you might want to find a different line of work. Yeah. Don't think law enforcement investigations is for you, Jer. You'll be good at something else. Whew. Again, Holman's attitude toward third-party suspect Patrick Westphal supports the defense's position that law enforcement has intentionally destroyed evidence or acted in bad faith, at the very least, I'm saying, or have intentionally not provided missing evidence, such as Brad's second interview. All right, at his August 30th, 2023 interview, State Trooper David Vito did not even ask Brad Holder if he would allow state police to extract data from his phone, even though it is clear that Holder had brought his phone with him to the interview. So you got the chance again, even though it's way too late. When Vito interviewed him, you didn't want to say, hey, okay, let me see your data, let me see your phone. We're going to have to extract all this. Inept would not even be the word. And you can't tell me that they don't know to do that. I mean, seriously, because if these are the people that are running Indiana, y'all need to clean house. Seriously. Therefore, it is not known whether Holder similarly hid or erased data from his phone like it appears Westphal did. It certainly is curious as to why Vito did not request Holder's phone data when Holder brought his phone to the interview. Yes, it is curious. It is also curious as to why Vito failed to ask Brad Holder one single question about Elvis Fields. My. If I commit a crime, I hope you're the ones that interview me. Seeing as how you're inept. It is also curious as to why Vito failed to ask Brad Holder one single question as to the incriminating statements that Amber Holder attributed to Brad that are detailed in the Franks 1, of course. Vito's failure to ask such important questions to Brad during the interview supports the defense contention that law enforcement is acting in bad faith. Yeah, it's not looking good for you, Ellie. It's just not. Mimicked crime scene image found on Brad Holder's social media is lost. In addition to Holder's 2017 missing phone extraction and missing evidence of Holder's second interview at the Logansport police station, as well as, the taped over one, another key piece of evidence is also missing: the mimicked crime scene photo that was on Brad Holder's social media pages. Now, I've heard a lot about this. Of course, I have seen his artwork. If there was a mimicked crime scene, I have not seen it. But I hear this a lot, so I have to assume that it did exist. And this was sometime in the spring of 2017. This mimicked crime scene image found on Holder's social media page holds an eerie similarity to the actual crime scene. In the mimicked scene image found on his page, the bodies of two women appear to be staged, lying on the ground in the woods with branches laid across their bodies. Well, what a coincidence that is. If you didn't have anything to do with it or you didn't know anything about it, man, what a great imagination you have, Brad. One of the women in the mimicked crime scene image found on his page has her arms staged or positioned in a similar manner as one of the victim's hands were staged and positioned in this case. At the time that Trooper Purdy observed the mimicked crime scene photo on Brad's page, the general public did not have knowledge of the appearance of the crime scene, the position of the bodies of the ground in the woods, or that branches and sticks were arranged on the bodies. Now, not to say that Brad could not have known someone who was there, one of the perpetrators or whatever, and seen or heard described, that in itself, it's just very, very sus. Yeah, it's very, very sus. Don't look good. In an April 12th, 2017 report from Trooper Ryan Winters, it was learned that state police also came into possession of said mimicked crime scene image through an internet sleuth named Ryan. I don't know if this is Boucher, Boucher. I don't know. Ryan. Okay, and this guy alerted Winters to the disconcerting images on Brad Holder's social media pages and then sent images to Trooper Winters over the internet. Huh. Well, what did you do with those, Troop? On April 12th, 2017, Trooper Winters then shared with Jerry Holman. Here comes old Jerry again. He shared with Holman his knowledge of the mimicked crime scene images found on Holder's media pages. And because of those similarities, Trooper Winters requested that Brad Holder be re-interviewed. Despite that request, state police ignored Trooper Winters and never re-interviewed Brad Holder. What? You have someone who supposedly doesn't have knowledge at all of the crime scene, and yet he's got pictures that are like pretty identical to the crime scene on his social media pages, and the police are like, hey, we need to interview him. And somebody's like, nah, let's just let it pass. Seriously? These kind of things. This is why we think you're all guilty, Carroll County. To this day, the prosecution has failed to turn over those crime scene photos that were found on his media. Fortunately, because internet sleuth Ryan had saved the image that he had turned over to Trooper Winters, the defense team was able to drive to Georgia to retrieve that image. Wow. You know, Jerry, you can't do your job, but it seems like the defense can. When deposed, Trooper Winters claimed that the state police could not access the images that Ryan found on Holder's social media and then turned over. What? Why couldn't you access them? How could state police lose such an important piece of evidence as an image found on the suspect's social media that mimics the crime scene? Yeah! How'd you do that? It takes real talent. It takes real buffoonery to lose that. The defense again would proffer that the mimicked crime scene photo was not lost. Logic and common sense dictates that such an important piece of evidence would not be lost by state police. Yeah. Of course. Logic. But now that seems to be missing in this case, doesn't it? The defense is filing simultaneously herewith this memorandum, blah, 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 blah. All right. As detailed in the said memorandum, if the defense can show that the missing evidence is exculpatory in nature, then the defense does not need to show that the missing evidence was intentionally destroyed. If, on the other hand, the defense cannot show that the missing evidence was exculpatory, but can show that the missing evidence is still potentially useful evidence, then the motion to dismiss should still be granted if the defense can show that law enforcement intentionally or acted in bad faith regarding the destroyed or missing evidence. Yeah, basically, you know, what's that saying is that, you know, if they can show that law enforcement destroyed this evidence, acted in bad faith because they knew it was exculpatory for Richard Allen, they're just saying, you know what, according to all these laws, and that was in the motion 1, all these things, if they happen, you should be able to dismiss the charges. So that's what they're saying. They're saying, look, I mean, can y'all really be this bad? Like, one thing, maybe even 2 things. But look at all this evidence that y'all have lost, the things that you haven't done that could be exculpatory. I would say that's bad faith. Even if you can't prove that they destroyed it, it's definitely, in my opinion, it is bad faith. I mean, come on. Again, if you are not afraid, state, if you are not afraid of the evidence that you have against Richard Allen, if you feel like it is solid and you can prove that Richard Allen was involved, then why are you pulling the shenanigans? If you've got good evidence, then you don't have to withhold everything. If you have stuff that's truly against Richard Allen, you don't have to pull this crap. Because you could easily show that no matter what was on these phones, whatever, that Richard Allen is guilty. But you have gone beyond, over the moon, to keep Brad Holder out of this. Why is that, Jer? Why is that, Carroll County? I bet Robert Ives wants to know too. Because he was still, when all this was going on, he was still the prosecutor. He's the one that thought, oh, this is easy. This is going to be solved in a few days, a week tops. Okay, so again, A through H. Look at all these things. These are all the things that we just talked about. The videos, the interviews, the audio, reports, all these things. Look at this list. Could all of these things just be an oopsie? I mean, think about it. Let's be logical. Could all of these things just, I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. Oh, no, we didn't do that. Why not? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just ask FBI, see if they did it. Ask Logansport, see if they did it. We didn't think about taking notes on an interview because, why? Okay. Notice that all of the missing items are related to third-party suspect Brad Holder. All right. Also note that the prosecution is asking the defense not to be allowed to even mention the name Brad Holder during trial. Do you understand? The state is panicked that you're going to bring this up because, first of all, it shows how inept they were. How they have, if you're going to bring up all this and you're going to have to say, well, did you interview him? Whatever. They don't even want his name mentioned. Shh. What is that? It's like a movie or something. There's somebody, he who shall not be named. What is that movie? That's what that's what the prosecution is doing. Brad Holder is he who shall not be named. Currently, the list of defense that the prosecution failed to turn over to the defense includes, all right, let's go through another list. Still not turned over, Todd Click's letter and his 85-page report. Remember, Todd Click and Ferenczi and Murphy, they all investigated this early. And they told Nick McClellan, when they arrested Richard Allen, hey, you got the wrong guy. We've got months of evidence that it leads somewhere else. But they don't have that. Multiple Elvis Fields interviews, Rod Abrams interviews, multiple Johnny Messer interviews, multiple Taylor Hornaday interviews, Ned Smith interview, and Libby German phone dump. What? You don't even have Libby's phone dump? What the crap? Oh my God. Oh my God. Also note that the prosecution... Let me go back and read that again. Yeah. All this stuff. How do you not have Libby's phone dump? I mean, seriously. Whew. Okay, notice that all of these things are related to the third-party suspects and Odinism. Again, we touched a little bit on Odinism last night. I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think most people think it is strictly an Odinist thing. It so happens that the people involved in other activities are Odinists, which therefore puts that flavor on it, maybe in the staging, all right? Doesn't change who did it or who didn't do it. It's just like, yeah, there's that Odinist flavor, but that wasn't maybe the main thing. It wasn't the catalyst for the unalivings. All right. How many times? All right. Brad Holder has changed his answer concerning a basic question. How many times has he met Abby? In the first interview, he stated he had never met Abby. Then he's like twice. Then he was like 3 times. Okay, this is just like a synopsis of everything. And you can read all this, but it's just goes into the depths of, why he said, he didn't know her, how important that was. I mean, it is all of that, but there's no new information that we have to this, so I'm not gonna go through all that. I did find it interesting because I don't remember this from before, that one of the 2 times that Brad said he did meet Abby was at Patrick's house. So I found that very interesting. What was Abby doing at Patrick's house? Was she with Logan? Like what exactly? How did that come about? Okay, when combined with the evidence contained on Brad Holder's social media pages, including images of a rune inked onto Holder's hand that mimics the way sticks were formed on Abby's body, as well as all the other evidence that's detailed in Frank's, the ever-changing stories of Brad on how many times did you meet should provide insight into why the defense believes that the missing evidence contained obviously exculpatory evidence. How could it not? That is a good question. I mean, either he has a very bad memory or, yeah. Let's see. Hold on, I'm having a computer crisis right now. I hope. Oh, for some reason, I'm not charging. Oh, that's because I'm not plugged up. Whoa, hold on just a second. All right. I haven't even seen any of the stuff. Hold on just a minute. I'm about to go. Oh my God. Sorry, y'all. Okay. I'm coming back. Man, I told y'all I wasn't prepared for this today, right? I told y'all I just kind of threw this together. All right, let me look at, so while I'm on this page, let me look at some of the stuff that y'all are saying. Hey, Four Pits. Hey, Samantha. You're right. I'm gonna have to go back and highlight a lot of stuff. Digital. Yeah. Let's see. Mother Dragons. Yeah, I bet somebody does have that pick too. I definitely think so. All right. Let me get back to here because we're getting towards the end. All right. No. Start all over. All right. Let me look at this. Okay. Okay, they do believe it's exculpatory in nature. Of course it was, because you know what? If that evidence was not exculpatory, it would still be there. It would be given to you, defense. Come on. Come on. They're not going to hide evidence from you that shows that Richard Allen is guilty, right? So, the missing destroyed evidence is exculpatory, but even if the court disagrees, the court should find the missing destroyed evidence as potentially useful and dismiss charges. How many people think that Gull's going to do that? Not me. Not me. Ah, jeez. And then all the above, then the court should dismiss charges if it also finds that law enforcement intentionally caused the potentially useful evidence to be destroyed or acted in bad faith. Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that it's almost 100%. They at least did one of those. They acted in bad faith for sure. Uh, did they cause it to be destroyed? I think so. That's just my opinion. I do. Like I said, you got two choices. Either they're total buffoons, or they destroyed evidence, right? Or they didn't even take it in the beginning. Maybe, like I said, maybe that interview. Maybe they just sat there and played on TikTok. Whatever. Read their Facebook messages. Maybe that's what they did. So they didn't need to take notes. They didn't need to film it, video it, because, this is just like, this is a formality, right? Come have a seat. Let's have a Coke. Chill for about an hour and a half. I mean, it can only be one or the other, right? Missing portions of vital video from Jerry Holman's 10/26/22 interrogation of Richard Allen. Let's look at this. Jerry Holman interrogated Richard Allen on October 26th, 2022, and said the interrogation was videotaped. However, the first few minutes are missing. We talked about that. And we also talked about when he walked out, it was kind of, we had the whole discussion. Should he have had Miranda rights? Then there was the sitting in the lobby, mean mugging him. Let's see. All right. So I don't want to read all that. We talked about all that before. Jerry Holman lied in his August 10th, 2023 deposition that Brad Holder was never a suspect. Yeah, you did, Jer. That was a little bit of a fib. You just stretched it, okay? In his August 10th, 2023 deposition, when asked if Brad Holder was ever a suspect, Holman said the following: "Not really, no, nah. Really, everybody else thought he was. What were you doing, Jer?" Yeah, you're like somebody said in the chat, were you at the buffet and you're like, you know what? I'm full. Nah, he's not a suspect. Let's move on. However, it is clear from reviewing emails between Doug Carter and the FBI that Brad Holder was a suspect very early on in the case. So, you weren't CC'd on those messages, Jer? Or, if Doug and the FBI knew, either they didn't tell you. Was there a reason? Or did you forget? I mean, I don't know. How did everybody else know, Jerry Holman, and you didn't? As stated before, Holder was thought to be a suspect, and his name was known as a suspect even at the highest level of the state police, and even to the top FBI agent, Jay Abbott. The fact that Holman misled the defense by claiming that Holder was not really a suspect is evidence of the intentionality of law enforcement involving the concealment or evidence or evidence of bad faith. I agree. You just totally misled everybody. Again, you haven't turned over Todd Click's exculpatory evidence. Defense still waiting for that. How are they supposed to go to trial? You have 3 investigators in the very beginning investigating this, but you won't turn that over. And you say, oh, it's nothing. By the way, let's not mention Todd Click either in trial, because we don't want any of this stuff coming up, okay? Okay, Judge Gull. And she's like, well, I guess, hold on. What happened? I'm just all out of sorts here since I moved. I guess, they don't, I'm telling you. I can't even. I guess those 3 detectives, investigators, they really didn't know what they were talking about, right? Right? But Jerry knows. Just ask him. And he'll tell you to ask somebody else, but ask him anyway. All right. Contained in the Click letter, of course, was evidence that this is what Click, Ferenczi, and Murphy believed, that Brad Holder, Patrick Westphal, and Elvis Fields were involved in the actual unalivings. Again, was Richard Allen involved in some way? I do not know. I don't think, this is my personal opinion, I don't think that he was involved in the unalivings, which is not going to help him. If he's involved in any way, it's not going to help him tremendously, except for all of the stuff. Now, I mean, wow, then you got all that. Everything that they've done to Richard Allen since he has been incarcerated. Wow. You know, the state on appeal might look at that and say, you know what? We're going to reduce this sentence because this is ridiculous what they did to you. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying it could happen. Stranger things have happened. All right. It is hard to believe that a much stronger example of exculpatory evidence could exist than documentation that 3 law enforcement officers essentially believed that the wrong man may have been arrested. Yeah, of course. All right. But we've talked about that before. I love this one. The prosecution failed to turn over exculpatory evidence contained in several videotape statements until after the prosecution knew that the defense would soon learn of its existence. You know, all that stuff. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, all that stuff that we've got in the box in the back of the closet. Yeah, we weren't even going to turn it over. Well, we have a problem. See, the defense. I don't know who told them. Somebody. Now the defense knows. And guess what? We're going to have to dig that stuff out. And we're going to have to give it to them. Yeah? Man, wonder who leaked that. How did they find out? Geez, there goes our case. I want to see a Delphi movie after all of this. Wow. Yeah, so, I mean, come on. You're not going to turn over the exculpatory evidence. Not that you want to. No prosecutor wants to do that. I get that. But you're not. But you still have to. Look, again, if you've got a strong case, you don't worry about this stuff. If you have, you know, really, really strong evidence against someone, you don't have to hide stuff. Do ya? You know? Just tell the truth. They're like, you know, you don't lie. You know how you avoid lying? You just tell the truth. Tell the truth about anything. Apparently, that is not in their vocabulary. All right. So there is a little bit of a deficit there with Carroll County. Truth. What? Huh? What's that? Truth? Huh? Definition, please. All right. Whew. So, you know, basically they got caught. Now they have to turn it over, and they're quite ticked off about it. Yeah, quite ticked off. Still haven't done a lot of it, but, you know, they know they have to. They're just hoping if they can drag it out long enough that maybe the defense won't find all those little things in there that are really bombshells, okay? They'll have to read over it fast. They'll have to process it fast. Maybe there's some things, hopefully, fingers crossed, they won't see that. Maybe they'll just skim it over. We'll put the stuff, this bad stuff, but it's not the worst stuff. We'll put that like in bold letters. Yeah, so then, you know, they won't really read all of the little tiny print that comes after it. You know, when you sign these weird contracts, you know how that goes. All right. Prosecutor turned over these videotaped interviews nearly 9 months later than required under rule and statute. Well, you know, but you don't see anybody getting sanctions for that, do you? I don't even say, I mean, I don't, you know, whatever. All right. Those videotaped interviews provided exculpatory evidence in terms of blown alibis. Whoa. And third-party suspects, as well as connectivity between third-party suspects and also provable lies told by third-party suspects. Yeah, I've heard stuff. I mean, I don't I don't have it in black and white. I've heard that some people say that Brad Holder's alibi may not hold up. And I will, let me tell you this, though. If that timeline is wrong, so think about this, okay? If the timeline that Ellie gave us at around between 2:30 and 3:30, which is complete bull, because it didn't happen there. If it happened, it didn't happen there, but I don't even think it happened at that time. All right. That was first shift, right? So when did you go to work? Because if the unalivings did not happen until later that night or in the wee hours of the morning, well, then you wouldn't be at work at that time, would you? That would really mess with the alibi. See what I'm saying? But that timeline, they've got to keep that timeline, even though it makes no sense whatsoever. The prosecution and law enforcement attempted to conceal the Purdue professor. We know this. Talked about that a lot. Again, more lies. Let's keep going. We know all about the Purdue professor and the affidavits and all this stuff. All right, the prosecution failed to turn over one of the key pieces of evidence for nearly 9 months, and then only after the defense kept requesting the prosecution for the same. A key piece of evidence in this case is the phone data extracted from Liberty German's phone. Yeah, why on God's earth did it have to take that long? It's not like you didn't have it for the last 6 years, all right? It was there. Oh, and that's what they go on to say, but yeah, that's the first thing I thought. Well, you know, you've had it since 2017. Really? You couldn't turn it over faster than this? So yeah, they you know, what's happening is they're not turning over anything that they don't have to. And so now okay. Oh yeah. Now okay. This one was good. Whew. On April 26, 2024, the state of Indiana turned over a report from Steve Mullen concerning the findings of Sergeant Mitch. I'm going to say this is Blocker. If it's not right, I'm sorry. That's what he's going to be for me. Of the ISP. Contained in the body of that report was exculpatory information concerning ping information that supports the February 13th, 2017. The victims were not located at the same scene as they were found on February 14th, which I have been saying for over a year. That is totally crap, right? So there you see it in writing. And we know, here we go with old Tobe and Tony. They both, we already know this, they contradicted Holman. Oh wait, no, okay. Tobe Leesenby contradicted the sworn testimony of both Jerry Holman and Tony Liggett concerning the number of people involved in the unalivings. Of course, that is in the Franks. They both said, Holman and Liggett said that there was only one person, Richard Allen. And now remember, isn't it Tobe, though, who was the sheriff at the time, he said, no, there were more people involved. But, you know, they told him, let me go back up here. Wasn't it Holman that said, oh, yeah, they both, Tobe and Tony both said it was just one person. It was Richard Allen, which was not true. But, you know, again, when you tell so many lies, you can't keep up with it, okay? You're going to make a mistake. It's the way it is. No recordings of Richard Allen's original interview with Doolin exist. Yep. And then again, back to Holder stuff. So what do you think? And here's, I'm gonna get off this part for just a second. So tell me what you think. All right. If the police, and I'm saying if as if it's if it's not true, but we know it's true. If the prosecution has done all of these things listed in here, would you say Would any reasonable person, okay, I'm not the judge, and neither are y'all. I mean, I think most of us could probably do a better job, but, that's my opinion. At least at being unbiased, okay? Would you say, in light of all of these things, that the police acted in the way that that the defense is claiming, that it was, they either destroyed evidence, or it was not an act of bad faith, Because I'm looking at this saying, even if I thought Richard Allen was guilty, and I don't know if he is or isn't, but I mean, I would lean more at this point. I'm heavily leaning towards he's not, because of all the shenanigans. Why you gotta come up with all these shenanigans if there is good evidence? That is like, it's like elementary. I know every prosecution and defense, they're going to fight. They're going to do motions back and forth. But you look at some of these other cases, and there's not the outright buffoonery that we have in Delphi. There's just not. So, the prosecution has good evidence. The defense has good evidence. You both present them, right? But here, the prosecution has done everything that they can to not involve Brad Holder from the very beginning. Brad, Patrick, Elvis. Now, whether there are other factors involved, and it has to do with a lot of other people and reasons and targets and all that, yes, I believe that is why the tentacles. Like I said, I don't think it was just an Odinist thing. But they were obviously involved with all of these other people. So why are you hiding this, Ellie, from the very beginning? Why was it so important to you to not have evidence against Brad or Patrick or Elvis, especially Brad? Like, did he do it? I don't know. But what I do know is the police definitely don't want you involved. They didn't even do the bare minimum of investigation. Not even the bare minimum. Okay? Not even reasonable investigation. So why is that? That is what is suspicious. All right. Yeah, you're right, Keith Kellogg. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen if there is a connection, then somebody has somebody needs to show us. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, they just threw all that stuff unlabeled. And that is disrespectful, in my opinion. And of course, I'm sure shenanigans like that go on, but in between defense and prosecutors in a lot of cases. Yeah, whatever. So tell me, what do you think? What do you think? Do I think that Gull is going to say, yeah, we're dismissing the charges? No, I don't. But when you put all this stuff together, to the fact that they do interviews and they don't even take notes. Come on. Any reasonable person would look at this. Look, I don't even have to know what Richard Allen did. You just take all the names. Take the names, the details, the crime, and you just say, I have a prosecution that's doing this and a defense that's doing this, and I'm going to be like, any case, what does the prosecution have to hide? Because they're hiding a lot. Why? You're hiding it because you know the truth. That is my opinion. You're hiding it because either Brad has some kind of connections, whether he was, actually involved or not, or if he was just there. Who knows? I don't know. But Brad has some kind of connections. He has some kind of hold. He has something, him and Patrick, that Ellie is just playing stupid. Are you afraid Carroll County? Are you afraid of what will happen because of these people's connections? Or is it orders coming from higher up? But nobody, even you, Tobe and Tony, even y'all, you can't be this stupid. Like, literally nobody on the planet can be this stupid. Nobody. The level of buffoonery. I mean, you might not have been the brightest bulbs in the pack, but I don't believe that even you could be this dumb to not take notes. Do you see what I'm saying? It makes y'all look guilty. Do I think Judge Gull will go for it? Nope. Nope, I don't. But I do think that this will come up if we need an appeal. I do think it will come up, and I hope to God somebody in Indiana, or maybe even further, I don't know, can go all the way and cut through this ridiculousness, because yeah. I've never seen Mayberry could have done a better job, for sure. And I think, I don't know Robert Ives, but I've heard people say he's a very good man. And I have to say this, I think that this is why Robert Ives said, deuces, y'all, I'm checking out. I think when he realized that whoever was involved, whether it was just the TLs of Carroll County, or if it was, you know, the Odinists, the traffickers, the Kokomo crew, whatever, I think he realized that it was going to go higher up. Okay? When I think quickly, this is my opinion, that he could see the pushback from higher up. Oh no, let's not involve Brad and Patrick. No, let's not take the phone data, even though he is the prime suspect. I mean, we're just gonna claim ignorance. Oh my goodness, how did we do that? I don't know. Yeah, I think, in my personal opinion, that this is why Ives got out of there, because he knew. I think by this time he knew that something bad was being withheld, covered up, not investigated, and he's like, if they do come up with somebody, I can't prosecute them, or I don't even want to be involved in this, because whether it's too dangerous, whatever. All right. Yeah, I agree, Keith. I think that some people did know exactly what was going to happen. I did. If you were in the show last night, I did say that. All right, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I know, I've got to go back and read y'all's comments, because y'all are the best. Y'all are the very, very best. All right, tell me what you think. I got fired up. I got a little snarky. Yeah, I know. All the snark came out tonight. Sorry. Sometimes I just get so heated I can't stand it. Just can't stand the ridiculousness of Carroll County. I'm sure somebody will be coming after me in the comments. I don't care. Y'all, if you haven't seen Four Pitt's interview last night with the bombshells he dropped, if you don't want to watch the 2.5 hour thing with all of us, it was great. Four Pitt's the best. And I know, let me just say this, Four Pitt's, I know the danger that you put yourself in to say what you say, and I appreciate it. I really do, as do tons of people. We are very aware of what it takes to tell the truth in Carroll County. So, that being said, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, I did a short video. I think it's about 16 minutes long. Just clipped out his part. So check that out. And, stay safe. Whatever y'all do, stay silky. Stay away from Tony Liggett. Jeez.